Hey y'all, welcome back to Our Road Less Traveled. Today we're going to share with you the number one thing that all RVers ought to do once a year that will decrease your chances of having an accident or a tire blowout. So stay tuned.
We've done a lot of weigh-ins at Catskills, but this one was a little bit different. So we did our weigh-in at the Escapees campground in Livingston, Texas.
And stick around to the end of the video and we'll explain a little bit more about what Escapees is.
Yeah.
Alright, so normally what we do, and we do this once every, I don't know, 2-3 months, we'll go up on a cat scale just to get the combined weight of the truck and the trailer, just to make sure that we don't have a weight deviation somewhere.
Yeah.
While we were in Livingston at the Escapees Park, we found out that they have a system called, is it Weigh Safe?
Something like that. I'll put a picture of it up here
Weigh
on the screen.
Something. We'll put a picture of it on there. Anyway, these are like DOD trucker scales. So you take your truck full of fuel and you pull up on their little pad and they put the scales under it and they get the weight of each one of your tires. And that's your baseline. That's got all your occupants in it. You know, it was me, Maria, Stella, all of our gear, just like we were getting ready to hook up and leave. Yep. They get the weight on that. They put the numbers on a piece of paper and we'll flash that image up here in just a second. Then you go hook up to your camper with the fresh tank full, and you run back through the process. They weigh the front and rear tires on the truck, then they weigh all the tires on the RV. And what's nice about it, which is better than Love's, is you get a per tire weight. So you can tell where you've got a heavy spot on your travel trailer or your truck. They do the mathematical calculation to tell you what your pin weight is, so you can see what percentage of the weight is landing on your truck. Now, what we've always been told and what we always tell other people is that a fifth wheel is going to add 20 to 25% of the total weight back to the truck in payload. In our case, that was not correct. East to west, and I hope y'all are watching this because y'all did a fantastic job of balancing the frame of this RV. We're only at 16%, and I thought we were pretty nose heavy, so I tried to put more stuff towards the back. But we at 16%, we're right at 2,100 pounds of pin weight on the truck, which is almost in 3/4 ton truck area. I wouldn't run a 3/4 ton with this because it's too close to the payload numbers, but it was nice to see that. When we fill our fresh tank, the fresh tank is situated more towards the back and driver's side corner, so we actually put more weight on that tire. And I would not have thought that. I thought it would have been more centered near the axles, but you know, it was about 200 pounds more on that back driver tire on the fifth wheel.
And she did ask us to fill our water tank before we weighed.
Yep.
For that purpose, just to see how much we would weigh with the water. Now,
the other thing that they do is they look at your tires. They pull the date codes off of them. They pull the PSI levels on them, the cargo carrying capacity. They tell you everything about your tires, and then they mark those numbers down.
You'll have a lot of letters and numbers, but it's these last 4 numbers that you want. And it's pretty small. These are brand new tires, but see 0423 on there.
Then they get the payload off your truck. They get the gross vehicle weight rating off the truck. And they put all that on that piece of paper, and then they do their calculation, and then you have a little sidebar with them, and they go through all of this. And instead of us explaining it to you, what we're going to do is we're just going to let you know what Kirsty told us. And by the way, thank you, Kirsty. You did a fantastic job.
Yes, she did.
So y'all take a look at this, and we'll be right back in a second.
Okay, so we'll start with your truck. We weigh it first without the trailer, and then we weigh it with the trailer. Without trailer, you're looking pretty well balanced, 2,650, 2,600 pounds. for a total of 5,250. When we add the trailer, we get 2,500 and 2,800. For some reason it throws more weight on the side. But what it is doing is it's actually putting weight on the front of your truck. Usually you'll see people put weight on the back of the truck and the nose of the truck goes up. And that's not good because you lose steering capacity on that front tire, right? But you've actually kept weight on the front of the truck. So that's good because you've got a nice sized truck for what you're pulling. Okay? When we look at that total, 5,300 pounds, your axle's rated for 6,000. So you're well within your axle rating. On your rear, we were sitting at 2,300, 2,230, fairly well balanced. We'll put the truck on, fifth wheel on, 3,400, 3,150. It seems to be adding weight to that side, which is kind of weird.
That's the generator sitting in that back right corner right there. That's right at 100 pounds. So kind of shocked that there's, well, that's close. That's 70 pounds.
But when we put the fifth wheel on, it's actually putting a bit more weight in that back side. I don't know how that always works like that. But
so there's 250 more pounds on the back right corner with the fifth wheel loaded.
Yeah, versus that. However, when we look again at your number, even with the fifth wheel on, you're at 6550 and you're well within your axle rating, 9750. You said you've got nice dually tires, your hitch is well placed. So, you know, your truck's doing what it's made for. Right? When we add that front axle and the rear axle together, we got a gross vehicle weight rating. That's the total weight of your truck. With your fifth wheel on, it's 11,850, and your ram is designed for 14,000. So these are better than most numbers I see.
So the truck's good.
I think the truck's good. So
off balance a little bit, but it's good.
So when we take that total weight with the trailer minus without, you get pin weight you're putting on of 2,070 pounds. So that's the weight you're putting onto your truck. Some of it's going on the front, some of it's going on the back. Okay. Then your fifth wheel itself, these tires, the front axles, rated for 6,000 pounds. You've got 4,900 on it. Rear, again, 6,000. You've got 5,820. So again, you're within your axle rating, so you're not overloading those. However, they are really well unbalanced. You've got 2,326. You've got extra 300 pounds. 2,650, 31. That's another 500. So
I'm kind of shocked that we're heavier in the rear because the refrigerator sits right over this first tile. What in the Sam Hill is in this back corner?
So a lot of it's how they're designed, but are you carrying water? You full of water?
We are, but the fresh tank is, you know what? The fresh tank is in the back corner. That's what it is.
So it's starting to just understand where all those utilities sit. If you usually travel with a full water tank, you know, you're just putting extra weight in that.
Not unless we're going to boondock.
Okay. So again, you would want to fill up nearer to the location you're going to boondock. Once you're sat still, it doesn't matter how much is in there because you're not bouncing around on those axles. When we add the front and the rear axle together plus that pin weight, that's how we get the gross vehicle weight for the trailer. That's how much your fifth wheel weighs, okay? So that comes at 12,790, and you're well under your 13,655. So you may.
So we're still underweight on what the trailer is
even with
for.
A full water tank.
So
That's good.
did you say so we may go shopping?
Some people, I say, go to Thrift and Gift and donate stuff instead.
We were friends up until that comment.
Well, I mean, somebody had a bed full of yarn yesterday. You don't have to buy heavy things. So when we add these axles together, the weight on that pin, those rear axles, all of that comes to a total of 22,570 pounds. That's where we would compare it against this gross combined weight rating that your truck is designed for, which I'm no doubt is going to be maybe 28,000, something, up there. So you're going to be well within that, is my guess. But ideally, you want to find that number, then at least you know what your criteria is, all right?
Okay. All right. Why did we do this over Loves? I wanted to know the weight on each individual tire. I wanted to know what kind of stress we were putting on the springs and the shackles and all of that. So to me, I think you ought to do this once a year, whether it's a CAT scale or to an actual, quote, DOD weighing system. By doing that, you'll keep from overloading your truck, which, believe me, it's not how much you can tow, because you could probably hook a Ford Ranger up to this thing and get it to move. The problem is getting it to stop. The other thing, you don't want to overload your tires. Those things have a pound rating on them And you don't want to put 4,000 pounds on a tire that's only designed to hold 3,800. When you get going down the road, it heats up and it blows. You also want to know the proper PSI to have that tire at for the weight of your rig, because there's a graduating scale of tire pressure. You can have a max tire pressure that says, like these, they're 110 PSI, and 110 PSI, they're rated at 3,850 pounds per each one. But that makes for a very stiff ride on the fifth wheel. If I don't need the full 3850 in the tire, I can drop it down to maybe 90 PSI, and it keeps the fifth wheel from bouncing around and shaking everything loose on the inside. So that's why you need to do this. I would say do it once a year, but if you can't find a place that does this, then by all means, at least roll up on a CAT scale. It's $13. It goes directly to your phone, and
particularly if you're full-time. Right?
Yeah, even if you're a weekender, I mean, it only takes 50 miles to generate enough heat in a tire to cause it to blow. Yeah. So make sure your tire pressure is right. Make sure you're not overloaded. Just be safer on the road for everybody in general.
Yeah.
For those of y'all that stuck around, we're going to tell you a little bit about Escapees. Now, we are not spokespeople for Escapees. We are not sponsored. We're not. Matter of fact, they might get kind of pissed that we're even bringing them up.
I don't think so.
We started out using their mail service. That's how we get our mail on the road. And after being with them for a year, what we found out is they actually have member-owned campgrounds. Yeah. So that was a benefit for us above the mail service. And these campgrounds are really nice. They're very well maintained. Mm-hmm. And if you're a member, it can save you $100, almost $100 a night to stay in some of their campgrounds.
We saved us $100 a night staying in California. But they can also help you set up your domicile if you need to domicile when you're full time. I
would not recommend domiciling in South Dakota if you still work. But they do.
If you don't know about that, go back and watch the last two videos.
But they do Florida and Texas as well. Along with your membership within Escapees, you get the discounted price for weighing your fifth wheel, Class A, whatever you want to put on the scales. There's just a ton of other member benefits that, I think they have stuff that they can help you out with. Health insurance. They have a free legal
roadside assistance.
Yeah. They have an attorney on staff that you can call and ask questions to that are RV related. It's just then they put together, I think they call them campouts. Escapades, where people can get together and they'll go camp or
convergence or some.
Yeah, it's
I think they have all kinds of rallies to bring people together.
We're not doing a very good job of telling you about Escapees.
Develop community.
I think it costs $50 a year.
Yeah. It's a little bit more for it might be a little bit more for the mail, to add the mail service or whatever. Yeah, we do the scans and all that.
Yeah, that's excluding the mail, but the membership itself is $50 a year.
Not bad.
And it's well worth it because you can recoup that with one campground stay.
Right.
And they have several campgrounds. Most of them are in the west, but there are a couple in. I think there's one in Alabama. There's
one in Tennessee.
Yeah, I think there's one in Tennessee. But check them out as well. And I think that's going to do it for this video. We're on our way to beautiful Colorado.
Yay!
And
can't wait.
I don't know what this is behind us, but it's in New Mexico.
Some volcano. That wraps up this week's video on getting our fifth wheel and truck weighed at Escapees, and we'll see you next week on our road less traveled.
Bye, y'all.